it is, but let's take the call and see what's going on here. Hi, caller. How you doing?
Hey, Nico. It's Alan from Largo. How are you
Hey,
guys?
Alan. Good to hear from you,
Alan.
man.
How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. You've got a timely topic for me today. I wanted to pass along if anybody really. I've spent the last 6 days. There's a documentary out right now called The Sacred Plant.
Oh, yes.
And by a gentleman named John Malenka, who produced this. This is the second in the series of it, but I've watched 6 hours of it so far, and it's boggled my mind about. I had no clue about medical marijuana and all the different maladies that they're having huge success with treating, but also because it's in its infancy, it's almost like a hunt and pick kind of thing with different strains and different combinations of strengths, but treating people with MS, with myasthenia gravis, with kids that are, thrown out by the regular medical industry that are having seizures 30 times, a day, and man, the stories in it are just amazing.
It's a great documentary. I'm so glad you're watching it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I'm going to do that right away, for sure. Have you tried CBDs yourself?
I do. I just fairly recently. It was about 2 weeks ago. I actually ordered some from I did a lot of research trying to, get a pure organic one. I found a place in Colorado,
right.
a small family farm, and I ordered some. I haven't seen a huge difference in it, but I don't have huge maladies myself. I have a little bit of inflammation in joints and stuff, so I'm seeing if it helps that.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
fantastic, Alan.
If anybody really wants to really dive into it, I mean, one of the things, I don't know how much time you have, but one of the things, cut me off when you want.
Yeah,
one
no
of
problem,
the things that really impressed me, or not impressed me, but just opened my eyes was the states that are legalizing pot, for recreational use. I think there's 3 states now that have that. I could be wrong with that, but Colorado, Washington, and California recently.
Right. And Washington, D.C.
Yeah, they bring up a valid point. The legislatures in those states have big eyes for money now because they can tax it, and it's huge to be able to do that recreationally. But what it's doing is hurting the medical aspect of it because these smaller farms that work with these doctors to try to develop the formulas that are helping their patients, they're being driven out of the business because it costs $1 million to get a license now in those states, and they can't afford it. And so now big money's moving in. Big corporations are moving in, and big money's moving in for the recreational aspect, and it's really killing the medical aspect.
One thing, I was the guy I met in Colorado that had he had a little roadside stand in this farmer's market, and he says, I come here once a week and sell my CBDs, and then I go back to my cabin and make the CBD oil. So he's a little entrepreneur that's doing it by himself, but it's with the hemp plant, so it's a little bit different because there's not as many regulations for that. But with the THC plant, yeah, no doubt about it.
Well, how about that news, guys? Alan, you saw the news that the country of Canada has totally legalized marijuana. That was last week.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I think you're right. There's going to be a lot of good things coming, and maybe some things that will be roadblocks or stumbling blocks. But what I do like about it is we're moving towards a medicine that's produced by the earth versus something synthesized.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a lot of people with
absolutely.
great results.
Absolutely.
I mean, I see it all the time. I call it CBD's kind of the incredible shrinking women. A lot of men and women in my group that have used them lose their inflammation and just drop a lot of weight. Alan, thank you for calling us. It's always good to hear from you.
Thanks, Alan.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.